expertise, or lack thereof. They had narrative in a congressional justification. It was 5 pages long for about $300 to $400 million. One paragraph was a list of offices, and that's it. Not a, here's a list of offices, colon, and then you start a list. It was just a list of offices, and that was the sentence. And you can't walk up to the Hill and say, I want this much money. And I don't know about, it's almost like just going up to your parents and saying, I want this much money. You know, you have to justify why you need this much money, what you're gonna do with it. So what I have to do is I have to learn about a program, and then I have to write about it. Just to give you an example, in FY08 House Report language, D&D received very negative feedback on their congressional justification. So then they decided to hire me from CFO's office and say, okay, well, let's bring Berlin on board. She knows what we need. So then what I did is I met with every single program, learned about their program, and worked with them to write and to justify what they need. So for example, they would just go to the Hill and say, we need this for like high Z material, highly enriched uranium. They would actually start bringing all these different structures out, show radiological signatures. That just tells me nothing. That tells me nothing about what you do, nothing about the impact, what it's going to affect, and how it's going to affect the country. It doesn't tell you anything. So what I did is I actually showed them, this is how you should describe it. You know, like for one thing, I learned like fruit, believe it or not, fruits, vegetables, things like that can have radiation signatures. They can have that. So if a truck of blueberries came through, they would actually stop that person thinking that they had something that they can make a nuclear bomb with. And I just didn't know this. And we weren't getting this message through to the Hill saying we need advanced spectroscopic portal, radiation portal monitors. Why? Because if you had a truckload of blueberries come through, it would be able to detect that those are blueberries and not highly enriched uranium. It would be able to tell that that's something that people are going to eat, not something that's going to kill people. So that was what I had to relay to the House and Senate appropriation committees. So we had to write, and we wrote a lot. And for example, one thing we did, we moved from a product-oriented organization to a mission-centric organization. So by going that route, I had to explain how we moved from a product to a mission. Because for example, I said the Hill can kill a product in a day. It can kill a product like in 2 minutes. How? If you look at our legislation, it says that we need secretarial certification. It says that we have to go through the National Academy of Sciences, and it says that we have to submit reports to the committees on appropriation. So they basically stop the production of that product. When we talk about actually completing a mission, it's probably not going to be a good idea for the safety of America to stop radiological and nuclear detection. So that's why I would have to write about that. So in narrative, I'm describing what the numbers are telling you. I also describe why we need this. What are the benefits of this product versus that product, or pushing forward this mission versus that mission, and why. So that's what I do. I basically write a lot. So I write a lot. So I work with the scientists. Like for example, when I worked at the Animal and Plant Health Inspection Service, I worked with all of the veterinarians and all of the botanists, zoologists. I worked with everybody. I learned about the animals and the plants that they were dealing with. I wrote about it. I can still talk about boll weevil. It's a cotton pest. I can still do that. And the thing that's neat is that you actually learn more and more about places that affect possibly places where you live. My parents, they live right now in the cotton belt. Boll weevil affects the cotton belt. I now know what is affecting the area where my parents live. So it's just, when you look at it, you can either look at it seeing from how the government works, how the federal budget process works, or you can actually look at saying, okay, there are federal dollars, it goes for federal services. What are these federal services, and what are they telling me? And when you open up a CJ, that person's going to tell you in narrative what they do and what they're using the money for. That's what I do.
Great. I want to take a second and thank Berlin, Tyler, and Greg for coming over and sharing their perspective today. To give you a quick...
I brought these out there too, but basically what's one of CBO for anyone who's interested. There are job openings from time to time.
Preview of July 8th. We have the former CFO of Transportation and current chair of Amtrak, Donna McLean, coming to talk about building your career path and making choices for long-term career opportunities. Representative Aegis, who does all the hiring and recruiting, to talk about interviewing and candidates for federal positions. And then 3 more representative budget analysts, one from the Appropriations Committee, one from OMB, and someone else from an agency office, to give you their perspective and what their job is. See you guys in 2 weeks. I think she was